What is going on, guys? Judo Sloth here, and today I wanted to bring you a Town Hall 10 farming video post Town Hall 11 update. Now this method is very easy. Anybody can do this, no real skill required. It is purely the amount of raids and time you spend on the game that reaps in the gold elixir, and even dark elixir builds up really quick with this strategy as well. So what is it, you ask? Well, in a nutshell, it is basically using all collector raids. So you drop right down in trophies, and I have found that the sweet spot for this is around about the 1000 trophy mark. And I will get into detail on why that is shortly, but I like to use all goblins for this. And I have also started mixing in about 10 wall breakers for mines and pumps that are behind an initial layer of wall. Now you could barch with this strategy by all means, but I've found that down in this region there are lots and lots of collectors on the outside. So obviously goblins are going to be more efficient. Now getting into the strategy itself, I would recommend, if you have the time, boosting your barracks in order to create goblins in the background a lot quicker. That allows you to just be out searching more often, and even if you find a base like this one, there's not particularly a lot of loot. You can drop 40 or 50 goblins. You'll see I'm just putting them on the mines and pumps on the outside, and then this means that often you can throw down 30 or 40 goblins and get in return 30 or 40,000 loot of each. And if you do this often, if you have your barracks boost in the background, them goblins will be replaced by the time you get back to village, and then you can do it all over again. And it's the repetitiveness of doing this and the amount of raids that you do that give you the amount of loot that you get. And then often you'll see that was only a couple of searches and we've already found a massive collector raid. Now it all depends on your personal preference. If you have a loot cut-off point, I won't take much less than 50,000 if I'm going to have to use a significant amount of goblins, but I will throw down 5 or 6 goblins if it's going to get me a couple of hundred dark elixir. If there's a pump sitting on the outside, I will do that. It all depends on your personal preference, but you'll see you do run into these big loot raids as well. 185,000 of each on that one, and I didn't have all my goblins with me, so it all depends whether you want to wait until you have a full army. I would personally say just get straight out there. Once you have, 100, 150 goblins or so, you're far better off to just get out there and start searching than sitting waiting of all of your troops. It is purely the amount of raids that you do that makes this worthwhile. So the initial part of the video there was showing you the troop composition, which, not much in depth we need to go about that. Just take all goblins, mix in some wall breakers if you want. By all means, use barch if you're used to that strategy, but I've just found for simplicity, it is better to just take all goblins. And now let's get on to some pre-recorded raids, and you'll see for the first one, I did just have all goblins. So once the mines are all down on the out-hand side, you'll see that I do have 300,000 of each. But I am not going to leave that dark elixir. I want all of that juicy loot, and I was actually saving up to get my queen to level 30, which is now underway. But she is actually a fantastic addition to your farming team, because you'll see the dark elixir pump at the top there. I can get that just with the queen. So often if you're searching, you find a raid where there's a dark elixir pump that you can get 200 or 300 dark elixir from. You can drop your queen, press a royal cloak, and you have to think that is a total hour's worth of your dark elixir pumps just from a 2-second raid. So it is worth it, and that is how you can build up your dark elixir quite quickly as well. Moving on to the next raid, again this is what you will see a lot of down here. So spamming them goblins around the outside, in order to soak up all of that juicy loot. It's up to you whether you want to take the town hall. If it appears there is a lot of loot in the storages, it probably will be worth taking it, because you have to remember the town hall is now a storage, but you have to weigh up with the amount of trophies you will gain if that forces you to win the raid. Now I know that sounds really weird and counterproductive. Why would you not want to win the raid? Oof, little tongue twister there. But it is the amount of time it could take you, depending on what league you're in, to drop back down if that pushes you above, say, the optimal level. Now that's not going to happen really off a single raid, but if you do that over and over, you might find that you then do have to drop back down in trophies. And the main reason that I found the sweet spot to be around about 1,000 trophies is because that's the point where I've found that you do start to get a lot more collector raids, but it won't take you too long to drop to that point. So if you did just want to jump on for a couple of raids, jump back off and wait for your army to build again, you didn't want to boost your barracks, it actually wouldn't force you too high up in trophies. You would probably gain a couple of hundred, but you could drop easily back down to the 1,000. Once you start dropping a bit further than that and you start trying to get to Bronze League, it'll take you a lot longer, and then you're kind of just wasting time. So it's a bit more time efficient being at 1,000, but I have found right down into the Bronze League is great for this as well, but that's only really if you are boosting your barracks, and even then I probably wouldn't recommend dropping that far, because honestly you find these raids right up there anyway. So around about the 1,000 mark is about optimal for if you're spending the time dropping to that trophy range each time. Around about the 900 to the 1,000 mark, stick around there and you'll be absolutely grand for this strategy. But if you're boosting your barracks and you're just going for it, don't mind, just let yourself drop in trophies. So just as we start to wrap up, guys, you've seen there all of the raids where there's lots of mines and pumps on the outside. I've got the elixir and the gold from doing that. There's a couple of examples there as well where I literally just jump on, take the dark elixir. You know, that one there, I probably should have gone for some of that elixir as well, but not to worry. I really wanted to just show you that you can literally have a 10-second raid and get 300 or 400 dark elixir. That's not uncommon down here. And as you're boosting your barracks for say an hour, you will shoot up in the amount of loot that you get. And obviously that applies for gold and elixir as well. You have to kind of play it by ear. Obviously, if there's gold and elixir there in the mines and pumps, it's very easy to get with the goblins because you've got your barracks boosted, for example. Take it. If it's a raid where there's literally 300 dark elixir or so just sitting there, just take it and then go straight back into the clouds. It will be worth it. So that is the strategy, guys. I hope it helps you. I've been your host, Sloth, and until next time, peace out, guys.
Stay tuned for more Clash of Clans.